I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it, didn't believe in it. I never given it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.
We are back together and live again, folks. We got Gina Ramsey, the author of Burnt Gloveboxes, Volume 1 and 2. Got them right here. I remember like when the last second, I'm like, she sent me the other one too. I forgot about that. For some reason, I thought I read it in a PDF. But no, I've got both of them. But yeah, this is a good, it's you see the title of this episode is Murphy's Law. These are all Murphy's Law stories. And if you're fortunate enough to read them, and you don't have to read them all in order. You don't have to. You can piece them together like a ghost story book kind of thing. Excellent bathroom readers.
For sure.
Oh, I mean, if you still read things in the bathroom without a phone, like some kind of caveman. Yeah, there they are. Burnt Gloveboxes. Get a nice plug up there, Gina Ramsey. And the link to them is in the description. But could I ask you a favor before we get cracking on the whole thing? Can you tell the original Burnt Glovebox story?
Yeah,
that's probably the best one of them. You know, it's in Volume 1, but how it all happened, it's the most craziest coincidence, comedy of errors you've ever heard.
Yeah. So just as a back history, we moved to Wisconsin in 92, and we kept having all these crazy Murphy's Law scenarios happening. And I would tell my friends and family the stories, and they would laugh and say, "You've got to write a book one day." So I kind of like had that in the back of my mind. Maybe I will write a book one day. And my son was in basketball. He had a tournament in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And so he took the bus with his team out to Oshkosh. And my husband and I and the girls, we went out later on. And so we go into the game, we come back out. I'm telling the coach that we're taking Mike with us, so he's not riding the bus. And I get to the car, and the kids are standing outside the car. And I said, "Come on, let's get in the car." And I opened the passenger side door, and my husband was laying across one of those bench seats. It was an old Pontiac car. He's laying across the bench seat, holding the entire glove box, like all the contents and the plastic insert in his hands. And you could smell just this burnt, horrible smell. And he told me that he got in the car and it was just filled with smoke. He used the word billowing, which I thought was really funny. The smoke was billowing. I'm like, that's fantastic that you said that.
Like a forest fire.
So we couldn't figure out what was going on. And more things happened with the glove box prior to this whole instance. So we had the door duct taped because of those instances. And
the visual.
So we re-duct taped, we reclosed the door, duct taped it up again, and it starts smoking again. It was the outside of the glove box. And I said, there it is again. Well, here, as we were driving to Oshkosh, I brought a mirror with me to put my makeup on. And it was a concave mirror. And the way we were parked in the parking lot was just so that the sun was coming in through the window and hitting the mirror in a way that it bounced off and was burning a hole into the glove box. Hilarious. And at that moment, I knew that was going to be the title for my book. And the actual burnt, I have a picture of the burnt mark. It looks like an army guy on his knee with his gun. I didn't add that in.
Wasn't there an irrelevant a piece of something your mother left you in the glove box?
Yes.
And on the cause of it?
Yeah. So we had all these instances. So
Not to get ahead of you there.
we bought the car from my mom and before she died. And so after she died, all these crazy things were happening. Like the radio would randomly turn off or it would randomly turn on. The glove box, the actual lock, we were just driving and the little latch thing that you pull to open it, the whole thing fell off. I did not even touch it. It fell off. So hence the duct tape to keep the door closed. So I kept saying, oh, my mom's probably trying to give us a message, right? So we put all these things in the trunk and we brought the insert for the glove box in the house when we got home. And it had a bunch of receipts and stuff in it, but there was a lottery card that she had filled out, the kind that you fill in by yourself where you pick your own numbers. So we played those numbers several times and we never won anything. I think we missed our window of time. I think she was trying to signal us when the lock actually dropped off.
Yeah. She's like, play them now. And
yeah. And we missed, and she's probably shaking her head going, it's just like you to not listen.
Yeah, they had the synchronicity just right. You just missed it.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh, it's an army man. What does it mean? Like, good God.
That's right. Right. Exactly.
What was your mom's name?
Joanne.
Joanne, what the is wrong with your kids?
Yeah. Yeah. And the crazy thing was her license plate was, there was a number on it and I wrote it in there. I can't remember what it was, but it was the number. And then JWN was when we got the Wisconsin plates, which was weird because we didn't order vanity plates. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the plate like says my mom's name. It says Joanne.
That reminds me of the bag on that movie Can't Hardly Wait with the kids. Like, what does it mean? The bag's getting flown around and God's in the skies. It's a bag. It's wind. You have any idea how complicated your nervous system is?
Right. Absolutely.
That's the thing with it. You're the perfect like in between, just regular author and kind of a paranormal kind of thing for me because the universe and the angel numbers and all the synchronicities is slowly becoming all I talk and think about. I don't know what's happening there, but it seems to be a big part of everything that happens lately. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, and I'm all about the weird, and I'm all about we just recently had in our newer house, our old house, we did have some type of ghost in it. Every one of us had, and I think I talked to you about that before, but in the house that we're in now, we have had things disappear, and we always, the prior owner of the house, her name was Rita. And so we'd always say, oh, that's Rita. Cause then all of a sudden the item would appear, whether it be a pen, keys, whatever. And so, so one morning I got up and walked into the kitchen and I looked to the right, and that's the side doors where we all come in off the porch on the side. And the door was wide open. The actual screen, the storm door was closed, but our inside door was wide open and unlocked. And I walked back to my son's room and I said, hey, are you awake? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, did you go anywhere? And he said, no. And I thought, well, that's weird because I always check the door before I go to bed to make sure it's closed, locked. My son is meticulous about doing that. And I went in and I told my husband, and I said, I think someone was in our house. Like the door's wide open, it's unlocked. So he gets up, he's like searching the house. He's like, he didn't find anybody, obviously. And he said, well, let me check. We got cameras. And then the reason why that didn't come to his mind first, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. You get there at some point. So
clear in the house with a gun. Wait a minute.
Right. Yeah. No. So he decided, and we have a camera that we can see if somebody's coming in or out of that door. Checks the camera. No one left the house. No one came in the house.
No.
Have no clue.
That's wild.
We haven't had it happen since, but yeah, it was pretty bizarre.
Could have been Rita saying she's finally gone.
Well, and that's, yeah, I called one of my girlfriends who's like really into this stuff, and I'm like,
First thing I thought of.
yeah. And I asked her, I'm like, hey, we just had a weird thing happen. And she goes, she's like, it's an older lady, and she likes to play with you guys. She's like, she knows you guys are like a funny family, and she likes playing games with you guys. What, you think? Can you get her out?
Should play games somewhere else. This is insane. There's doors.
Yeah.
Coons are getting in.
Yeah, right.
we got ants, Rita.
Yeah, that's right.
We have this place sprayed. But has anything happened since? You said nothing?
No. But yeah, it's, those are the only couple of things that have happened since we've been here. But our other house was it was craziness.
See, I don't.
Constant.
For some reason, I thought I was talking to you about it, but it couldn't have been because we've been talking like a year and a half. But like, I don't mind, and I realize this about myself. I don't mind having a paranormal experience, like even full body stuff touching me. Well, yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather see something like arm's length. But and I'm not worried about going to like haunted hospitals, and I'm not worried about going to Bigfoot infested areas.
Yeah,
and even having something other than like the potential of getting hurt, which are like possessed. That's like my other thing. But I would rather like see 1,000 dogmen and get chased to the truck and be like, oh, that was a rush. And then see one shadow man walk across my bedroom door. If I lived in a haunted house, I could not do it. Every time I see those shows, I'm like, y'all just went through a mortgage process. Y'all put money down, and now you're here and the house is haunted. Oh my God, what do you do?
Yes. That was our house in Stevens Point. It was crazy. And I would, it was funny because I always felt like something was in the bathroom with me. There was some presence in there. And I never said anything to my family because I thought they're going to think I'm nuts. And I was driving down to my mom's. My daughter, Jackie, and we were driving down to my mom's from Wisconsin down to Illinois. And she was kind of quiet, and she said, Mom, can I tell you something and not have you think I'm weird? And I'm like, well, I think you're weird, but sure.
So you can't do both.
You can't. Yeah, right. I'm going to think you're weird anyway. So, but she said, okay. She's like, I just like feel really weird at our house. She's like, every time I'm in the bathroom, it feels like somebody's in there with me. And when she said that, I freaked out.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, and then my friend Yvonne would come over and she would feel like this presence, like it was craziness. So my husband he was always, it doesn't exist. Until the one night that he saw the shadow walk across our back in our bedroom. And he's like, it was like a person shadow. And so yeah, every one of us had an encounter with whoever this was. It wasn't like a poltergeist thing or anything. It wasn't like anything threatening, but it made himself known.
Yeah, like something was there. You just didn't know what.
Yeah. Would whistle in the basement.
No, man.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you what.
I'd put a sign up, no whistling in the basement. This means you.
When we sold the house, like I literally went into the basement and I talked to the entity. I said, there's a new person buying the house, so please be nice to him.
Do not.
Be kind. Please be kind to this person.
You didn't get any like farewell whistles or taps on the wall whenever you left?
No, but the crazy thing when we were remodeling, when they say like on these shows to like when you start remodeling houses and like breaking into walls and different things that can like disrupt things a little bit. So we were remodeling the bathroom and I was busting out the plaster and I had the music going and all of a sudden I felt like the chills down the back of my neck, down my spine. And I just stopped. Like I felt a hover and I stopped and I pulled the headphones off my ears and I just stayed looking forward. And I said, we're just trying to make the house look nice.
And then do not be behind me.
But even our son, he is on the spectrum, and he lived there for a short time while we were making the transition to Superior. And just maybe about a half a year ago, he told me that he had an encounter with that spirit while he was there. And we had a renter in there with him and a friend of our daughter's, but he said it was in the bathroom.
What happened with him? Did it appear?
He said he felt it shove him.
See, that's good. Impressive.
And he's very black and white. So like, and he doesn't not want us to bring up that topic of ghost. Do not talk about that.
You know, I don't. My wife's a special ed teacher, so I get the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those kind of things. Like you look at them, like they're not less than us. The autistic folks are.
No.
They are super people. They are Umbrella Academy, and it's and anybody that's like, oh, they're disabled. No, they're not. You're disabled to them because you're stupid and you don't understand what they're trying to see. It would be amazing to see hear testimonies from people who are on the spectrum about stuff that happened like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're not going to bullshit you.
No.
They're giving you details to the finite degree that you didn't even think about. Like I saw the toothpaste move and.
Yeah, when he told me, because like you have these experiences, and for me personally, I still I know the experiences I've had, and I know that they were very real, but at the same time, you still kind of question. I don't know. I do.
It's natural.
Could it have been blah blah blah? But when he told me that, I thought, wow, that's impressive. And there was another time when our grandson, he was 2 or 3. He had to have been 3. But so it was kind of like our living room our living room, dining room were connected. Then you go into the kitchen and go to the right to the bathroom. So, but it always seemed to kind of like hover in that area. But again, it was in the basement too.
This probably was home base was in the basement.
Home base was in the basement.
I bet if we went down there, stuff would really pop off.
Oh my gosh. We but we're all talking and Marikai starts chitter chattering and laughing and then ran to the kitchen. And there was nothing. Like the cats weren't in there. It was weird. I'm like, oh, don't pull my grandson into this.
Was this like a little baby?
Yeah, our grandson was probably about 2 or 3. Like he was walking, able to walk and stuff, but he started giggling. Those shows where you see where kids they start giggling.
Start looking at the corner.
The thing that our cats would watch the corner in the living room. They would just sit there and just stare up at the corner.
Yeah.
So
it's textbook. Yeah. It's standard.
Oh yeah.
It's like that. They're here.
Yeah, right.
Looking at the fuzzy TV screen.
Yeah, right. We never had that. Thank goodness. I would have been out of there so dang fast.
Yeah, that's one of the things that like living in a haunted house with kids. You're like, well, you messing with them. Now we got to fight and get a priest in here and burn the house to the ground and salt the earth. I left the South Pittsburgh Haunted Hospital just across the Tennessee line. I was coming back down south to Alabama. It's like 2 miles at the most.
Yeah. And
probably less than that when I got, it doesn't matter. But there's an overpass just across the line.
Sure.
And I'm in my truck and it's 2 a.m, the greatest time to be in a haunted hospital. And I slow down to about 30 miles an hour on the highway, speed limit 65. I roll my windows down, all of them, even the back glass. I said, look, I'm Catholic. I know a lot of priests. I said, get out of here. I said, if you're in here, if you follow me, get out before I get this overpass. I'm slowing down to 35 and I'm like creeping down this highway. I'm surprised I didn't get pulled over because like I was on PCP talking to the air. I'm looking at my rearview mirror. Like I'm looking something in the eye like this. I'm like, if you're in here, you got to get out before I get this overpass. You're going to get exercised and get sent to hell. I said, I know a ton of priests, and I do. And as soon as I hit that, I got to the overpass. I said, all right, too late. You better be out of here. Rolled it up, and nothing ever happened. I don't know if I felt anything, but I was like, look, don't follow me home. It's over with for you if you do.
Isn't that crazy? I went to there's a old mansion here. It's called Fairlawn Mansion.
Mhm.
And I had talked to the director had reached out to me. She had planned on maybe doing like an author meet and greet with a
Mhm.
bunch of area authors. And so I scheduled to meet with her over there. And I didn't really know, like we've been up here for a number of years, but and I've passed it several times, never been there. But I didn't know the history of it. I get there for the meeting and I didn't know which door to go in. And as soon as I pulled up, I don't know, I had kind of an odd feeling. And then as I got closer to the mansion by the doors, I'm kind of searching which door to go in. I felt a real heaviness and I'm like, this is weird. And so I finally go in and meet with the director and she's showing me the areas and they have a big casket in there because it's around Halloween time
Mhm.
and they're trying to educate the community on how they would, wake the bodies in the homes. And I'm like, oh my Lord, like I do not need to see this. I'm freaking out now.
Sitting up with the dead.
Yeah, but she said, yeah, we're thinking about having some people up in the ballroom upstairs. And immediately my gut told me, do not go to the ballroom. You are not going to the ballroom. So as we were leaving, I asked her, and I was just drawn to she's she had her son with her, and she's getting him strapped into his car seat, and we're talking, and my eyes were just drawn to that top floor, and I asked her, I said, "Have you had any experiences at this place, like any kind of encounters or anything?" And she's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, we've had things fly off of dressers and doors slam and steps, you hear steps. And I'm like, oh, okay.
All right.
But as I was driving home, I just had I swear something was there with me the entire time. I had like this tingling in the back of my head. It was really bizarre. And I come in through the door and my husband goes, so how did it go? And I'm like, it's haunted.
Oh, it's bad.
He goes, how do you know? I said, I knew it the second I walked up to that place. And so I got her connected with our local paranormal society.
Mhm.
And I told her I know one of the people from there, and she was wanting to have it, kind of an investigation done. And so the guy that I know that's in that society, he reached out to me. He's like, thank you so much for connecting us. We've been wanting to get in there forever. He's like, and so the group and I would like to invite you since you got us, our foot in the door, like to invite you to come do this with us. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
I've had enough fun there. So
You guys-
you went first
Yeah.
time without. So you went for like an author thing. So it wasn't for a paranormal thing.
Right. I just went to meet with her.
That's much worse. I thought you went there
Yeah.
for that purpose. Okay.
Yeah, I went there to meet her. And then here's the crazier thing. They do what's called the ice cream social there.
Mhm.
So it's outside on the lawn and they have music and they have, of course, ice cream and popcorn. And so it's a big community event. So this was a new director that came in and invited, reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to invite you to come to this. And I said, absolutely. So they had me right out front. There's the sign that says Fairlawn Mansion. And so our table, my husband was with me. Our table was right by that sign. And one of my coworkers, her son, I think was doing like an internship there or something. And we were asking her, like, this is right at the end of the event. We were asking her, like, has he had any experiences or anything like that? And she's like, yeah, he's like learned so much about like all the different things that have happened in there and stuff like that. Well, as we're talking, the sign that says Fairlawn Mansion, one of the little, it's like little metal pieces that make the words.
Mhm.
I hear a click and I look up and hear one of the metal pieces for the sign like fell over. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I got to get out of here. And I'm going back for the next ice cream social. I don't know. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. But
I think I would have to go there for at least one investigation to see what was up.
oh, well, my husband he's like, you should go. They're inviting you to go. And first of all, they're going like in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
And
Always.
I'm not going to stay awake. And secondly, no, because I'm not bringing anything home with me. He's like, you gotta go. They invited you. You go.
Go to that ballroom.
Yeah, right. Go to the ballroom.
Might be like the haunting where you're in the you're the one they want you get in there because you're ancient
Yes.
relatives or something that own the place and they want to get the soul back or something like that.
Yeah.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Laureline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
AKA
So
worst fear.
yeah. So that was really. I mean, I've had so many experiences that actually started with my after my uncle died, my Uncle Arv. That was my very first experience I'd ever had. And I was staying at my parents' apartment and I woke up in the middle of the night and this image was like right in front. I was on the sofa sleeper. So it was pulled out and it's right at the foot of the bed. And I freaked. I pulled the blankets over my head. I'm like, just go away, just go away, go away. Go away, please go away. And like looking back, I just feel like it was just a way of saying goodbye. But at the time, I was like, what the heck was that?
Yeah, it'll be a little more subtle.
Yeah, come on, Uncle Arv. Like, really? But ever since then, that almost opened this portal or this window. I'm not like Whoopi Goldberg hearing like people chattering in my ears, which I'm very glad for that.
Can you imagine?
I can't.
Like how in the world? Yeah, I see people all the time. No, man, I would end it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And there's people who do do experience it that way. So I don't know. I'm glad for the way I sense things.
I would have to be on pills if I saw dead people all the time. I would have to be that numb my brain. Unless you just get used to it like anything else.
I don't know. I mean,
or maybe,
a lot of these people that talk about that say that that's been happening since they were young.
It's always when they're young, like first grade, 3 years old.
Yeah. So
how do you explain that?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I would have to like talk to them enough if it was coherent enough that you could talk to them, like you or I were talking to each other. I'd have to like set up like, look, I'm gonna have to put in date books here where you can come between these hours, have office hours or something, 3 to 4 p.m. Don't be just showing up.
Yeah. Well, this Duluth Paranormal Society, they go all over and they go into private homes for people who experience stuff in their homes. They also go to big places like the Fairlawn and no, I'm trying to think of the name of the place, but it was I think it was like a hospital type of, I don't know if it was a mental health hospital or an overall hospital. But they've got footage. I should send you the video. Just watch it during the daytime and not at night when all the lights are off. But but they use this I guess, I don't know if it's an Xbox or something where it shows skeleton like forms and stuff like that.
XLS.
So, yeah. So they use that. That's one of their tools that they use. And then they got this Ouija board and they're like, and I'm like, that's the first place where you're going wrong. Like, don't even do that.
Get an SLS box and a Ouija board. It's just
like you're asking for it. But anyways, so they're doing this and they're talking, trying to talk to whatever, and they've got this skeleton mapping thing going, and all of a sudden you see this figure, the skeleton, and for your listeners, it doesn't look like a skeleton like do. It's just like lines. It just kind of
stick figures almost.
Yeah, yes, and it kept going towards this one lady that was doing this, and she finally had to get up because she started feeling really sick. And it's really bizarre watching that video. So, but they do a whole bunch of stuff like that. They got all the equipment and the radios where they can hear whatever talking and saying names and stuff like that. The radio transmissions.
spirit box.
Mm-hmm.
To me, those things are only accurate whenever somebody does like a SD session
Yeah.
with the headphones on, because then
Yeah.
you get the things you don't the out of context.
Right. Yeah, I know that they like really they've done a couple presentations at our library and different places here.
Mhm.
And they do tell people that like they use the Ouija board in a controlled fashion. They really strongly encourage people to not use some of this equipment,
Mhm.
because they said people just go out and go on Amazon and start buying all the stuff. And he said, now we're being called by these people
Mhm.
because now they've opened up,
It's like buying a nuclear weapon.
Yes. Yeah. And
don't
he's like,
need
now
that.
they got problems and they want to know why.
You got a portal to hell in your basement, ma'am.
Yeah. What did you do here?
Yeah, and then leave it open. Don't
Oh my
close it
God.
out. Just
Yeah.
start taunting it.
Yeah. He said it's really bad. Some people just get a lot of this equipment and not know what they're doing with it, and then it just
Mhm.
invites a lot of bad stuff.
You say
So
that was Duluth Paranormal Society?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That sounds cool. Sometimes these paranormal societies don't have a lot of some of them are good, some of them are just a bunch of old people
Yeah.
running
No,
around.
this is great. And it's really funny because when they did the presentation at the library, they have like one or two people on their ghost hunting team that
Mhm.
are skeptical. They're more analytical. They're, like scientific, like gotta see it, right? And
Mhm.
so and it's so funny listening to them, but listening to their stories of what they've experienced and how they can't explain it, the things that they've you know encountered. And I don't
Mhm.
know, it's pretty cool. I don't know, I'm open to what I've experienced, but I just don't want none of them talking to me.
Just don't do it anymore.
And leave our door closed, for God's sakes. We
Stuff is
don't,
getting in.
yeah, like you don't know who's gonna walk in.
You don't have venomous snakes up there, but you got snakes nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. This was during the winter though.
Okay.
So we were good on that, but we have to fear people more than
Oh yeah. Well,
the snakes and
I'm terrified of
bears.
snakes getting in year round around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could get
Yeah.
a snake in
So
January.
yeah, well, we get a lot of bear up here, and now they're getting active again. So,
Oh yeah, it's that time of
but
year.
I got the coolest bird feeder for Mother's Day last year. My husband bought that and a new shepherd's hook, and very first night, not even kidding. And we got that on camera. We saw the bear
Saw the bear destroy the bird feeder.
completely. Hmm. Yeah. So, and
And
when that happens, you have to bring it all in because then they make their rounds and come back because
they're gonna
they
try to
know
tear your door down.
right. And if the door is open because of Rita, then we're in trouble.
Well, maybe she had the sense enough to ward off a bear while she was gone, and was just letting you know.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. You hope that so there's not a benevolent spirit running around your front yard.
Right.
Well, have you tried to like microfiche Rita? Like go back and look for articles about her and find who she was? And
No, actually, she's a good friend of mine. Her husband used to be married to her, and so the story behind when they got divorced, this is what this house was her portion of the divorce settlement.
Mhm.
So, but I know
so
she was
you know more intimate than that. Then
a little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know a little bit about her, but not a whole lot. I just know I don't want her opening my doors.
No,
So
leave them shut.
yeah, you want to hang out in the basement and not freak me out, then great, do that.
Don't write your name in blood on the wall. Don't leave the door
Yeah,
open.
don't do right.
And
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. I had an experience. I was in it was I don't know if you're familiar with Shopkos. They're long gone, but similar to Kmart or Target, whatever.
Mhm.
And I was in a Shopko one day and I was waiting for, I think I was waiting for my son. He was in the dressing room trying on jeans. And I felt something shove me at the shoulder. And almost like a friend, you know, like pushing you.
Mhm.
I turned around and nothing was there.
Just randomly
In the purse section of Shopko.
I'm telling what's going on in there.
Have no clue. But it was something.
It wasn't
was
just nothing. You felt a push.
It was a distinct push on the back of my shoulder. So
Makes you wonder how many times that's happened before you didn't notice it. Or like in a crowd, it happened. Like there's somebody
Yeah.
there, but you thought it was them.
yeah, you think it's a pickpocketer.
Yeah. I thought about that before. Like how many people are dead on the street? Like how many of these people are
Mhm.
ghosts you walk by? Especially the ones
Yeah.
like that stare at you and stuff that are weird. Does anybody else see this
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
Pretty much the plot of the movie Ghost. Once again, coming back to that a lot. Whoopi
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Yeah, I mean, really, I loved that movie. The ones I don't like are the poltergeist and or not poltergeist. I have a story called poltergeist. I always say that.
Poltergeist.
Yeah. But yeah, like the scary ones of like really bad entities. I don't like watching those movies, and it's crazy like learning. I don't know if you've ever heard, but like on a lot of those horror movie sets, like really bad things happen. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't like those, but Ghost really got you reflecting on things. I don't know, just questioning and I don't know.
They
And
could
then
be anywhere.
crying a lot. And then you cry a lot.
Don't possess me. It's one of the things where they can be anywhere too, not just tied
Jumping.
down to a place where they died or anything, but just like anywhere they want to be, if they want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many stories. I have my good friend Yvonne. She's had experiences. I don't know. Like I talk to more people who have experience or who have had some experiences than not. Yeah, I don't know. And I think everybody has that kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a gift. People call it a gift. I don't know if it's a gift, you guys. I really don't.
It's like a broken piece of software.
Yes.
It's like a bug in the system. You need to update. You never had a near-death experience, though, have you?
I have not. I have not. I have
Usually-
there was a woman I worked with though who did. She got in a really bad car accident and she said she met Elvis. Like the fat Elvis. I asked her which Elvis we're talking. Was he like the skinny Elvis, the good-looking Elvis, or if it was like the heavier Elvis, the older guy, you know, at the end of
It was Fat Elvis.
Vegas days. Yeah, with the big glasses. And she said it was the older Elvis. And I've heard of a lot of people seeing Elvis when they died. They had to revive her and all this stuff. So
That's a random sighting.
yeah,
You
like
die
why
and meet
Elvis?
Elvis.
Why Elvis? Like if I died and they're bringing me back and I just see my parents or you know, Uncle Arvin ask him why. I don't want to see Elvis.
That would be the weirdest thing. I'm like, your music's not that good. The only reason they like you is because you died early, Elvis. Face the fact. You had no good music. You're the Bruce Springsteen of your time, Elvis. No one really likes you. Your music's not that good.
Right. Yeah.
Chris
So-
said, did you rule out the bear pushing in the store over the bird feeder decision?
What was that? Did you
He said, did you rule out the bear pushing you in the store over the bird feeder?
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Well, and this was years apart. The bird
Mhm.
feeder was last year. Well, we've had several with the bears up here, but oh my
We're in the
gosh.
sweet spot of the world where the bears are above us and below us, but not here.
Mm.
So I've never had to deal with bears in like my day to day. I've had to deal with deer and sometimes bobcats and snakes. And snakes and bugs are the big things here.
But that's the worst.
Yeah. You got to spray off. Anytime you go anywhere in Alabama, you got to spray with something, or you'll just be destroyed.
Well, in the new book, there's creepy crawly section, and talks about different experiences. And I had like a crazy experience with a June bug in a car. I was trapped in a car with a June bug with 3 other ladies, and it was a nightmare.
You didn't just grab it?
No.
They came by you.
We were in the dark. We were driving in the dark, and this thing kept like flying through the car. I'm screaming for the driver.
Oh, they're so loud too.
Oh my gosh. I'm not even, it's a hilarious story. And I still laugh about it. It was like, it was so terrifying and so funny at the same time. The driver could care less. She's like, bugs don't freak me out. And we're all screaming at her, you got to stop this car.
Especially if you don't know it's a June bug. You just know it's a giant bug that's making that noise. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was a June bug. And it was, but you're in this little car and
they go,
they're horrible.
They're so big.
Ugh.
Like a big green ping pong ball. You ever caught one and tied a string to it?
No.
Yeah, we used to catch them and tie like yarn to their feet, and they would fly around like a little drone. Yeah, tie like 6 foot of yarn to them, and you got like a little pet.
I'm surprised it didn't pinch you.
But, I mean, they do that. Listen, that doesn't hurt. They're gonna like this. It's fun until their leg rips off, which always happens.
That's crazy.
Then they're like a Maybug because they only got like 5 legs now. Instead of June.
That's crazy. Well, I'm writing a memoir right now, and it's about my childhood, and so I'm like reflecting on a lot of stories from back then. And we used to catch those woolly bear caterpillars, the little brown and black ones, and I used to like have them crawl on my arms and hands. And then the lightning bugs, the fireflies in the summertime, I just remembered about that and how magical they were, and we'd catch them and check them out. And I'm thinking, where did my fear of bugs come from? I don't even know when that began, but you wouldn't catch me catching a firefly at this point. I'd be like, oh, that's really cute. Oh, it brings back great memories. I'm going in the house. Thanks.
I'm not scared of spiders either. But some people are terrified of like being near them. Like, it doesn't really scare me. Like, I will squash one just because they don't want to. I don't know what kind they are sometimes. You don't want to risk it losing a limb.
Yeah.
But like when it comes to granddaddy long legs, I used to take them and just like throw them out of the way. Pick them up and throw them. And my mom would, what are you doing? Throw a spider at it. It's the worst case scenario.
The worst part of having a spider, especially in the shower, and I'm looking at it, and it's always in the corner. Always in the corner.
Can't get to it.
And I'm watching it, and I'm shampooing my hair. I'm watching it.
Don't you dare descend.
It's got its eyes on me. Like, what are you gonna do?
All 7,000 eyes looking right at you.
And then I'll take water and I'll throw it up there.
You gotta try to do the Peter Parker where you gotta shoot the water down your arm.
Oh,
the spider reference.
Yeah. No, I think that like the millipedes, the centipedes, was this expecting to hear it's fun until their legs.
It's fun until their legs come off. There's a gentleman on another podcast that I sometimes frequent as a guest co-host, and the running joke is that he's a serial killer and just hides him in his mom's basement. I won't go into the details about why, but yeah, it's pretty funny when people start piling on because the poor guy is the most innocent person.
Love it.
But Chris is over there too. He's over there sometimes on the chat line. It's funny though.
That's awesome. I love it.
I might have to screenshot that. Great.
There you go.
I was going to ask you about these books.
Yeah.
Are all these stories happen to you, or do they get sent to you by other people?
Yeah. So most all of them in book 1 are from me. Most of them in book 2 are from me. We have 3 stories in there from other people. And that is actually launching the Burnt Glove Box community. And so I'm going to be starting an anthology. The first book, I'm actually working on the submission thing with my author, my publisher. Wow, it's getting late. So I'm working on that with her. That's going to release real soon here. So people will be able to find the link to submit their own stories on my website. And we're going to start with the first one will be animal antics. So people can submit their stories with mishaps with their pets or farm animals or zoo animals or wildlife. Wildlife's a huge one. I got quite a few of those in my second book. But we're going to it's going to be similar to Chicken Soup for the Soul. Those are inspirational stories, the feel good stories. These, I want people to submit their Murphy's Law stories. So many people I talk to when they've read the book, or even when I've told them my stories, they say, "Oh my gosh, you have these experiences. I had this dog that blah, blah, blah." And they'll tell me all about the dog being crazy. And, so it really has resonated with so many people, and it's really created these really awesome connections. And I feel like a feeling of you're not alone when you're experiencing this crazy things in life. And so I want to keep going with the different anthologies, and I definitely want to do one that's paranormal. My publisher and I both say that probably would be a really great one and really well received, and people would be interested in.
There's a lot of stories out there like that too.
Oh yeah. So yes. So that book 2 has three other stories from other people. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if it was like a Chicken Soup for the Soul kind of story anthology. But if it's all you, maybe you are cursed. Maybe I was hoping you would say no. Those are collections. Like, damn, it's a lot of stuff happening.
In the 2 books, that was actually the full transcript that I sent to. So that was actually the book that I sent to my publisher, and she's like, "We really need to split this in 2 because it's a lot of stories." I could be. But at the same time, I feel like it's been a blessing, like all these things. Because I feel like in sharing my stories verbally with people, I would have coworkers waiting at my office for my next story about going to the local convenience store, gas station, and what they would try to upsell to me. And so they would wait at my door for when I arrived to hear the next story. And so it would just bring about a lot of laughter and joy. And I love making people happy and like giving them something to chuckle about. So, there's been times where I feel like I'm cursed, and in those moments I want to cry, but in the long run, I feel like it's been a blessing.
None of them are really tragic though.
No,
and that's funny stuff that happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing. One of the messages that I do tell people, because my tagline is "Find the funny in life's mishaps." Find the funny in everything. There are tragedies, there are horrible things that happen where I would never tell somebody, you need to find the funny in that.
Chin up.
Right, exactly. But yeah, these are just things, just these things that, okay, in the grand scheme of things, all right, your tire fell off of your car, or, whatever, but nobody got hurt. And, in the grand scheme of things, it's just little things. So, take it with a grain of salt, find the funny in it, find a positive, and move on to your next story.
One of the big ones is when you try to get something repaired, be it a car or a house, they always find something else. Like, stop looking.
Yes.
No one asked. It's worked fine till you touched it. What did you do?
That's right.
Like, do you know you needed this? No, I didn't. I wish you wouldn't say anything, because now it's on me.
Yes.
Would have worked for 10 more years. You ain't said nothing.
Yes. You are so right.
that bugs the shit out of me. I'm like, what? No. Go away. I don't need that. They'll give me a list of stuff needs done.
It's crazy. I know. It's sometimes it seems like that. It's one thing after another.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's like this compounding list of things that have to happen that leads you to do something crazy at the end of it. Like, wish the universe would just tell me what to do instead of doing all this crazy, monkey's paw stuff to get me to do what it wants me to do. Give me a. That's the worst part because you always end up something happening in the middle, and
Well,
you
yes.
meet somebody that leads to something else. Sometimes you know what I mean. I'm just
Right.
like fate, but like just introduce me to them.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like that. Like you're a freaking angel. Just make it happen.
Yeah. Right.
Like what do you?
Well, it's so funny. We were expecting a check. We were waiting for this check.
Mhm.
And we received it yesterday. And I'm like, oh, cool. We got our check. And so I walked downstairs to start a load of clothes, and there was water leaking from the washing machine. And so I came upstairs, and my husband was away, and I texted him. I'm like, hey, we got the check. And I sent
And the water's leaking.
I sent that, and I said, and I think the washing machine's leaking.
Then we got that check.
Yeah. Right.
That's the way it works. I mean, that's the way it works with that kind of fate and stuff. It's
Yeah.
you got to be careful with it because it's all interwound.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Nothing ever turns out the way you. Nothing ever happens the way you think it's going to. It's always this weird opposite way. You're like, why did that have to happen that way?
Yeah.
Like, why are we over here?
And I, at this point, I'm able to dive into those experiences now, and it's really paved a way for me as a humor writer.
Yeah.
And again, just I'm not the only one. Like, there's other people out there that
everyone.
stuff is happening to, and I'm like, this is so cool that we're able to let's just say it for what it is. Murphy, we're all like students of Murphy's Law School.
And doesn't it seem like the stuff we call Murphy's Law isn't things that are permanent? It's always really temporary, borderline easy kind of things, or things that you needed to do anyway. It's never like to your detriment.
Right.
Like when the stuff happens, like it's always like, oh, come on. And like one example I thought was I used to have a thing. Once a month we had to do a thing at work on Saturday morning. It involved IT equipment and communications, and stuff could work for a month straight. And that morning, everything broke on Saturday morning. And it was only for like an hour and a half, but it was the biggest thing we did all month because it was a big meeting and with very important people. And it always screwed up, never failed. Like you're just wondering how and what this time. And then one time that sticks out in my mind is everything worked perfect. Like, okay, I'm chilling. Like it's over. Like we're down the stretch. Once it got started, usually you were fine, but it was getting everything going.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, a thunderstorm blew up. I'm talking about end of time, lightning clapping like bombs going off, and just the whole building went down. Power went out, and people are yelling at me, "The power's out!" I'm like, "Yeah, I noticed." He goes, "What do we do? We wait for it to come back on. Can we do this thing still?" No, the power's out, and they're yelling at me about it. And then it came back on, and then stuff was, of course, broke because everything had to be powered back on because everything that was on all the time is now off, and you got to find what. And this old man set me down on a sofa and gave me a lecture about technology and Murphy's Law. I'm like, dude, I don't need that right now. I'm aware of that. But he's just, you got to be very careful, man. You got to like almost anticipate it breaking. Because I think he got mad because I went and sat down once it was all up again. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? But that's just when I think Murphy's Law, I think of that morning. I can hear the lightning, I can see it, and I can see the middle manager guy running down the hall with these sprints like a Usain Bolt to tell me the power was out. I know.
I love that. I love that.
Know why the power
if you think about it, all the comedy movies that we watch, whether it's Christmas movies, whether it's just regular comedies, they're full of Murphy's Law scenarios. Television shows, Seinfeld's a classic example. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to one of those four. And
That's all Christmas Vacation's about is Murphy's Law.
Oh my gosh, totally. Thing after thing. And so we laugh at those things, right? At these misfortunes that people have. And, unfortunately, sometimes we're the ones. But yeah.
Do you ever get into mojo? Things like that in your, I guess I'd call it your studies, but in stories and things? Like when you're at a ball game party and like it's the game's on the line and somebody goes, "Oh, this guy never misses." And I'm like, what the hell? And sure enough, he'll miss that one time. This guy never, it's 3 yards. They'll get this every time and they don't get intercepted.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
You gotta not speak. And it's real. That stuff's real. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
It may not be able to be proven. And usually they'll throw you a bone and let you get away with it a couple of times so you don't realize it. But then sure enough, I mean, it's 75% of the time it'll mess stuff up.
Yeah. Well, my really good friend, her and her husband are Chiefs fans. And it was not this past year. I think it was the year before when they were doing really well, and they were doing really well in this game. And I picked up my phone and my husband looked at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna," because it was getting toward the end of the game, but it was very close, right? And I said, "I'm gonna send Julie and Kevin a congratulations." He said, "Don't do that."
No, shut up.
Don't do that. Don't put your phone down.
I might have slapped it out of your hand. Just instinctively. I'll turn mine on airplane mode during games.
Yeah.
During Alabama games, the big ones, I'll turn it on airplane mode and put it face down. Like I can't even look at it. Mojo's real, man. It's right there at Murphy's Law. Probably the same.
They're probably cousins.
whatever boardroom is messing with us like that is the same thing with Mojo. Whatever Loki, if you call it that. Like one time we were on this real long 4-wheeler ride, and one of the guys' 4-wheelers broke, ATV, and they finally, after about an hour, they finally got it running again, and just started. And I went, and this guy said, "Don't say a damn thing." And I'm like, "Oh man, you're right." And we just like pretending like it was fine, just left. Chris said you never mess with the football gods that way. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. My husband was very right. I would have. I don't know though. I wasn't thinking.
We always make these. Shut up.
I was very excited for them.
Yeah, they would have hated you, even though the Chiefs won that year.
They would have. Yeah, they would have said, "What is wrong with you?"
I guarantee you that year, Marshawn Lynch. They didn't give it to Marshawn Lynch, but they threw the pass. It ended up being a pick for Seattle. I guarantee you somebody said, "Oh, we're about to win now. Here we go. 2-yard line." And that person, nobody speaks to that person anymore.
Well, it wasn't me this time. So
no, it's always someone. And like you said, you doing that, and because you weren't like a fan, so it didn't matter to you. But when they saw it, they'd be like, "Oh." I think it works by proxy. I think if you're just watching you'd have the entire city blaming you for that loss. Yeah, but luckily it's Seattle and they're all limp wristed. It ain't someplace like Philly where they'll come to your house.
Yeah,
and
you're right, Chris.
But I've watched like sports I have no interest in, like a basketball game or soccer or something like that. And I think if you say it then, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you're just kind of messing around, casual. But if you're a fan in it with like your chakra is involved in it, I think that's when it gets you.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know where we got off on this.
I was truly rooting for them, I mean, I'm a Packers fan myself, but
ruined the entire thing.
Packers were out, so.
Well, I love the Packers, I go back up north for the Packers.
They're
no them hosiers up north in Orange don't bother me none. We listen to 30 Point Buck song a lot at work.
Oh, that's such a great song.
30 Point, I do love the Packers. The Huntsville minor league team used to be the Brewers Farm League.
Oh.
Until they moved out. Yeah, but for a while they had to come here and then go there. Probably made them better teams because it's 1,000 degrees during their camp, and then they come up there and it's like 20.
Right.
Like, wow, we can see our breath again.
Your teams down there have to be so talented because they're dodging snakes and bugs
and tornadoes.
And tornadoes and the heat.
I think the heat's the worst.
I mean, that's talent.
And then in Texas, when you fall down, there's stuff in the grass that sticks in you.
What, like fire ants?
No, they're like a little shell. They're called goat heads, but they're like a shell from a particular arachnid, but they're like this big, but they're like spurs. They're basically, you know what barbed wire looks like, the little barbed wire? It's like that, but it's like everywhere. And so you put your knee down, it's like in your, what in the,
oh wow.
That's a whole nother degree of Satan's armpit. You want to talk about. But yeah, they're weird.
Sounds like you got some stories for this next book.
it's like this, but like it sticks in you. I could come up with something. There's a ghost author from just across the line here, Sin Schrader Hill, and I don't have any real paranormal things, but the things I came up with, she goes, that's exactly what I want. Things like the by proxy paranormal, like my wife seeing a Civil War soldier stand next to me in Savannah.
Oh, wow.
And then her being cool with it. Yeah, her being cool with it. I'm like, let's get out now. She goes, yeah, it popped up. Like I was in a room. They had you were in one side of this room, the other, and they had IR cameras in the other room. So you could watch people doing an investigation with their K2s.
Okay.
And I'm in there standing around. I'm just like, I can feel the things on me.
You got to be out.
I'm feeling like I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I'm electrically charged. Like,
yes.
And like, it's just chills are crawling all over me. I can feel it. And there's a couch in there, and people are like standing on the couch with their meters, and it's like, why don't you come sit next to me? And he's talking to him, and I went back out, and she goes, I saw a soldier flash in there for like a second next to that couch. I was like, I bet that's when he was saying, sit next to me. She goes, let's hang out of here a minute. I said, let's leave, all right? And it's called the Sorrel Weed House in Savannah, if any of y'all want to go. Amazingly haunted as shit. You can tell it. And apparently Zach Bagans faked a possession in there back in like 2008. It's like, why you got to fake it, Zach? You don't have to fake anything here.
That's crazy.
We were doing you ever heard of the human pendulum? It's like it's kind of like light as a feather, stiff as a board kind of thing.
Okay.
You put the people in the middle and you establish what yes is and right and no is.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were doing that at a haunted location with the paranormal investigator leading it. And I told her, I said, I feel like I am just covered I feel like I got a wire attached to me. Like I felt like I was glowing if you turn the lights out. I felt like I had super cold chills, like goosebumps everywhere. As I'm like audibly chilled. It's like, yeah, I'm ready. Do it. I wasn't scared, but I just like that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was just in my head or what, but I said I feel like I am just I feel like I'm a ball of electricity right now.
Yeah, it's a feeling. I have people ask me that, like, well, what does it feel like? For me, a lot of it is that, well, I felt that kind of like chills down the neck and spine in the bathroom that one time. But a lot of times it's this heaviness. I don't even know. It's just like I'm being cloaked with this heavy.
That's even worse.
Feeling. Yeah.
That's the bad part.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that happened in the bathroom too. Like after I got the chills, I could feel this hovering or something. I don't even know how to explain it, and that's what I felt when I went to that mansion, when I was walking around on the porch trying to find which door. It was just an immediate heaviness I felt. So, and sadness. I felt sadness. And
what was that place called?
It's called Fairlawn Mansion.
I'm gonna look some of that up.
Yeah. Makes
you wonder if there's any history there you don't know about. Triple murder back in 1780 or something.
There's like some, I don't know. I looked up some of it. I don't remember all of it, but it sounds like someone who used to live there had lost a child or lost children or something like that. And that's almost the heaviness that, I think she's in the ballroom. I think she's in the ballroom grieving or something. I don't know. It was, even when I was there for that ice cream social, my eyes just drew to that
kept looking up there.
Oh, weird. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, you know what? If you keep looking up there, you're going to end up seeing something and then you're going to freak out. So just stop looking.
Always see something if you try. She's trying to get you to look up there.
Well, yeah, probably. Come on up to the ballroom, Gina.
Come on, Caroline. Coraline. You know what? You know, in the same, same trip to Savannah, we were walking down the street to this place to show this house that's had some entities felt in it, or some. It was a known haunted location, and the door was open, like easily a foot. When we walked up to it, and we're standing at the bottom of the stairs. I got pictures of standing down there, and him telling us the stories and who lived here, and you know, probably some colonel. Everybody in Savannah was a damn colonel at one point, and the door shut, like almost two. I'm talking, and I saw like eyes, like what you would see like eye glow, like at night if you saw like a cat on the side of the road, but real faint. Yeah. And the door closed, and I'm thinking, he's got something that's going to scare us. I'm just waiting on it. Yeah, sure. Because I saw the door shut. Yeah. And I saw I'll tell you what way I would describe it. If someone was wearing a pair of eyeglasses in the dark with streetlights outside, and you would see the glare, just got the faint enough to know that something's there, but you can't see it. Yeah. That's what I saw. But then the door shut, and we walked in. Nobody was there. Nothing happened. I'm like, I just saw a ghost. That's cool. That's all right. I just saw a ghost look around that and shut the door. But I'm like, no one else saw that shit? I'm like,
that's crazy. Now, Savannah, that's supposed to be pretty heavily haunted, isn't it?
Most haunted place in the country.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
You can feel it there, though. If they had a subway system, I wouldn't go in it. They've got like an underground section I don't even like. And that's one of my things. One of the non-career goals I have is to own a condo, 1-bedroom apartment in the historic district of Savannah, and not a new place, an old one. Okay. I want to wake up next to something. I want to wake up and like be something at the edge of the bed, but there and not at my normal house. I want to be able to leave.
But you don't want it pulling your covers off and pulling you out of the bed, do you?
No, I don't want to be hurt. But like if I had a haunted house there, I'd be cool with it. I'd be telling everybody, I got a haunted house in Savannah you could stay at.
There's a show on TV, and I think it's on MeTV or something. It was for a while.
Duffy said, I thought Duffy was dead. It's a picture in the 80s in Savannah. I don't know, man. If I had one, I'm looking like
awesome.
a condo in Savannah, like 1,000 acres somewhere around here to hunt in, and like a cabin in Montana. That's like my 3 things, and plus where I live.
I love that. That's cool. Anyways, there's a show on. It was on MeTV for a while, but it was about. I don't remember the name of it, but it was about celebrities and their encounters with the supernatural, and it was really interesting. Just learning of the different experiences that they had. And there was one with Wayne Newton in Vegas. And so it's, the lady who can read all of this stuff goes and meets these celebrities at a location. And he's talking about how he was singing and he saw Elvis too, but he wasn't dying. He was singing. But he saw Elvis, and I guess they were pretty close. And but he said he saw him up in the balcony, and it was really interesting because this ghost hunter lady, whatever her title is, medium, whatever, she felt like this older gentleman and this angry gentleman, and so it came to be known that was Elvis's manager and how horrible he was to Elvis and this whole like back history. Then the movie comes out, the Elvis movie, so I go to see it. First of all, I didn't know that his manager was Tom Hanks in the movie, so sorry, Tom. Until I saw it the second time, I'm like, that one really looks like Tom Hanks. So anyways,
It's a Tom Hanks knockoff.
right. Yeah, exactly. So, but anyways, it's from things I've seen. From things I've seen about that story, that his manager, or that the movie was pretty accurate to how poorly the manager treated him. And it was the exact story of what Wayne Newton was talking about and what that lady was feeling of this entity that was kind of hovering there, you know, just really bizarre. But there's a lot of really good ones on that show. But see, I can't, like, I have to have somebody by me, and I can't have the lights off or anything like that, because then I kind of
Do you see the one? I know what show you're talking about. The one with
Yeah.
Blanche from the Golden Girls,
Yes.
and her cousin or brother died, and they had like a thing with electricity,
Yeah.
and they started flashing the lights, and
Yeah.
that's the only one of those. I mean, I watched them. Remember when it came out on TLC or whatever, and the Blanche one's the only one that stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that one, and then there was one on Animal, the Animal Planet channel or whatever, when we had cable, and it was the animals that cued into. That was freaky. Those stories were really freaky. But there was one of a lady who bought this home in New Orleans and had no idea that it was it was like literally like somebody was killed in this house. Like they started remodeling and they found blood under the floorboards, and then all of a sudden that opened up the window for all the spirits to you know, arrive there. And then they had just bought the house, so they couldn't resell it.
Yeah, see, that's the worst fear.
Yeah, and then she ended up leaving with her kids and went to stay somewhere. But that one really stuck with me. I'm like, oh, what would you do?
You're left with this mortgage and you can't leave.
Yeah, right.
You lose $1 million if you leave.
Yeah, and if you stay, you know, it will keep telling you it's in the house and you better leave. So
I would have to find a way to monetize it. I would look for the funny in it.
Yeah, you could do that.
I mean, if you got something that aggressive, why not let people come in? I mean, that's $1 billion entity there.
Yeah, I
God,
like that.
What movie was that where that actually happened, and the ghost kept getting tired of people being there?
Oh yeah. I just saw it this past.
God, what was that? That was so funny. The people get charged.
There is a ghost, or yeah, because the kids were seeing it, and then the media were showing up on the front.
Oh, you're thinking of We Have a Ghost.
We Have a Ghost, yeah.
With Hopper from Stranger
That
Things.
was good. That was a good movie.
I'm thinking of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, okay.
And they opened up a portal to hell, and the house was bleeding blood, and people would pay to stay there, and this world famous heavy metal rocker paying thousands of dollars to stay in the house covered in blood that's leaking, with the voice that's talking like he never flushes the toilet. Like, I hate this freaking guy. And the guy's like, blood. And the entity's getting mad. This guy's a real dick. He never flushes the toilet. Never push the toilet paper on backwards. It's like he's having a bad, like the demon had a bad roommate.
I love that. That sounds good.
That's the one I was thinking. Yeah, We Have a Ghost is a good one because he's in the attic. Turns out he was murdered, and
yeah, that was really good. We really enjoyed that one.
See, those kind of movies. That's what used to be like the foundation of movies. That was a good one. Now that we're in the movie talk.
Yeah.
Then, anyway, I guess we can wrap it up now. But yeah, this has been fun. I'm glad you came back on. I'm glad that I realized that I could check my calendar within 4 days' notice and like, oh, I got a podcast tonight.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I better do something about that. Yeah, everybody, check out her books, Burnt Gloveboxes. They're good. They're in the description. I don't know I'm showing it, but yeah, the rubber chicken. I can hear this cover. Oh.
That's the look on my face when the things happen.
Yeah.
So
they're the same cover, but Burnt Gloveboxes. They're really good. There's good bathroom readers.
Yeah.
And as you finish the story, you can use them as toilet paper.
Well, the second one has a surrender flag with volume 2.
Yeah. He does,
It
doesn't he?
has a surrender flag. And if you look closely, the designer made the chicken's wing holding the flag. I love it. Just
His
love
little
it.
wing.
His little wing is holding the flag. But yeah, and then if you're interested in writing stories, if you have animal stories, just watch my website at ginaramseyauthor.com, and we'll be posting information on how you can submit those if you're interested. If you have any animal like crazy stories, like
What was that address again?
it's ginaramseyauthor.com.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty simple.
I was gonna put it in the chat just for
Yeah,
people to
that
see.
would be great. Yeah, so
That's right, Ramsey.
yeah, I'm really excited about the anthology, and yeah, but if you have more of the supernatural stories, hang on to those, because we will be doing one of those books in the future as well. So would love to read your stories.
I got one you can wrap up. So my uncle and my whole family is obsessed with apiary, bees.
Yeah.
And we have a small farm, and he's retired, and so all day is spent doing things on the farm there. The other day, he's allergic to bees, which is weird because he's got billions of them. And he had a swarm of bees in his tree, and he likes to adapter kit stuff, which means make things unsafe just to do it. He had this ladder set up in his tree. He gets up there and gets half the bees in the bucket. There's a bee bucket you can catch them in. You can Google it. It's a whole. I'm trying to be fast. But he's on this ladder. Something happens. He falls off the ladder and knows he's fallen, so he jumps so he doesn't like completely break everything.
Yeah. And
as he's falling, he clips his shoulder on a hay baler, on a hay mower, and when he jumps off, he fractures his ankle at the same time. And so, wounded shoulder, fractured ankle. He said, and half of that swarm of bees landed on me. Keep in mind, he's allergic. So he's covered in bees with a hurt shoulder and a broke foot, laying on the ground by himself at home. And so he has to do this. He has to do this like Vietnam Army roll away from all this stuff just to get away. And he's like just pulling himself. It had to look like The Walking Dead. And he finally like the bees flew off once he like shucked them a few times. But he's like laying in the floor of the garage. He goes, I just took all these clothes off, and there's like 50 dead bees laying there.
Oh my God.
That's an animal story. They're actually getting erotic. But like his foot was that big around. He was in a boot. His shoulder still hurts. And like,
how many stings did he get?
None.
Oh wow. He's lucky.
He fell off that ladder and broke his foot and hit his shoulder. He said, shoulder's still effed up. I don't know what the hell. What? I was like 4,000 bees. He goes, yeah, have you ever seen a swarm of bees?
Oh, yes, I have.
A basketball of bees.
Yes.
And half of them landed on his chest and just covered in. It's like the worst case scenario.
And I cannot stand, because I'm so like, I react so badly to them. I'm petrified of them. We get those yellow jackets up here.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out of the ground. Horrible. But I can't, like, I see people with like bees all over them on TV, and it creeps me out.
I'm not scared of bees, but I'm not going near them. I'm like, hey, there's a bunch of bees over there. I don't know if I'm allergic or not. I've been stung by wasps a million times, but honeybees are a different breed. I mean, I've seen my girl. I'm not chancing it. I can't see without my glasses.
I love that.
And on that note, we're closing it out. Thanks for coming on, and thanks everybody in the chat. And be sure to share it, because this was a fun episode. It was really
thanks
fun.
Everyone.
Right.
I appreciate
See ya.
it.
She'll be back. Don't, she won't be a stranger, I promise.
Bye-bye.
I never didn't believe in Bigfoot. I never believed in it. I didn't believe in it. I never given it any thought.
They kept wood knocking back and forth to each other, and it was in a pattern.
Barn owls don't typically throw rocks.
I come across these tracks.
Sasquatch is still not on my mind.